Hello everybody. In today's video, we are going to talk about one program, a simple program which uses exception handling. So we'll see what happens if we don't use exception handling and see how we can incorporate exception handling here. So in this program, I have a class called testException, which has a simple main function. Okay, main. There I have a variable d initialized to 10, another variable n initialized to 10, and I have variable c initialized to 0, and here c I'm dividing it by n divided by d, and it is printing the value of c. Very straightforward. Let's run this and see. So this is our program. Let us run this. So it is giving me 1. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Now let us modify the program once. So instead of 10, let me make the denominator as 0. Okay, so let's save this. So here I am trying to divide n by 0. So let's come back and run this program. So again, we'll compile it. Okay, run it. Now you can see it says this gives this message. The program abruptly stops and gives this message: exception in thread main, java.lang.arithmetic exception. It gives the name of the exception, the class of the exception which occurs. So arithmetic exception is that exception. And what is the description? Description is divide by 0. Where? At testException.main. So in the class testException, there is a function called main. So there in line number 6, this exception has occurred. So the exception which has occurred is divide by 0, and the method and the class to which this exception belongs is arithmetic exception. So when we discussed about our Java exception hierarchy, we saw that the exception class, under the exception class, you had the runtime exception. Under runtime exception, you had arithmetic exception. So this arithmetic exception is a class in that belonging to that hierarchy. So that means we can incorporate exception handling here. So let us go back to the program and incorporate some exception handling. So here, now, where has the exception occurred? The exception has occurred in this line. Oh, sorry, not in this line. When we are trying to divide. So we will enclose this statement inside a try block. So the moment I do this, now exception handling will work. So now, just giving the try is not sufficient. If I don't give a corresponding catch block, again the compiler will give me an error. So here I am going to give a catch block. Catch. Now we have already seen what exception has occurred, arithmetic exception. So we'll write arithmetic exception E. Okay. So this is my catch block. So I have to write something inside it. So what can I do? I'll just give a message. System.out.println. Say you are trying to divide by 0. Okay. So something like this. Okay. So I have a try block which encloses the statement which may cause an exception. Now if the value of d was not 0, it was anything else, this exception would not have been caused. But if the value of d is 0, then the exception will be caused. So in such a situation, it will execute the code which is here. Okay, so system.out.print, you are trying to divide by 0. This is what is printed. But we would also like that the value of c is displayed. So I'll just modify this a little bit. Value of c is, okay. So now this statement I want to be displayed whether there has been an exception or not. If there is no exception, it should print the actual value when n is divided by d. And if an exception occurs, I would like this to print that c is equal to 0. So c is equal to 0, then this will not get executed. So c value will remain 0. So I can put this inside the finally block. put it inside the finally block. Okay, so now I have a try, I have a catch, and I have a finally. So let's run and check. So compile again, run it. So here you can see the program ends in a more graceful manner. Instead of giving a very cryptic message like this, it says you are trying to divide by 0. The value of C is 0. Okay, so this way you can have incorporate exception handling in your program. This is a very simple way. Again, let me go back to the program. So here I have this finally. Now I have put this finally. Now suppose I had not put finally. I had not put this statement and I just let this statement system.out.println as it is outside. What do you think will happen when I run this and an exception occurs? Okay, let's see. So again, compile, run. Okay. So this also is there. So whatever comes after the catch block will also get executed. Did I save this? Okay, so you can see this is how your program will work. Coming back to our program here, we saw that when we run this program, without the exception handling part, in that case, the compiler did not give us any error. That is because arithmetic exception is a subclass of runtime exception, and runtime exceptions are it belongs to the caught expression, exceptions. There were two types of exceptions. So here it was a checked exception. So there are checked and unchecked exceptions. So this was a checked exception for belonging to the subclass of runtime. I think I have I have made a mistake. This is a confusion. So it is all exceptions that are direct or indirect subclasses of runtime exceptions are unchecked. Okay, and checked exceptions are the ones which are not runtime exceptions. So that's my mistake. So here, because it was not a checked exception, so the compiler will not make any problem if we don't give a try and catch block here. Okay, if we don't have a catch block. Coming back to this program again, now I can have multiple catch blocks. So let me write one more catch block now. Another, so this is another, and here I have put exception. Print line. An exception has occurred. So here I have two catch blocks. I have the first catch block which says, whose argument is an object of exception class. The second catch block whose argument is a arithmetic exception object. Okay. So exception class, you know that any exception, whatever be the type of exception, it will always be caught in the exception if you have a catch block with exception object. However, for exception to be caught by this catch block, it has to be either an arithmetic exception or any of its subclasses. Okay. So now, if I have this order, that is, first I put the catch block for exception, then I put the catch block for arithmetic exception. Now what will have to happen? Let's see. Again, let's compile. So there, you can see, it is telling me that exception arithmetic exception has already been caught. Even before I could run the program at compilation time itself, it is telling me that arithmetic exception has already been caught. So this ordering, when we have this ordering, that is, here I have exception, then I have arithmetic exception. Now if you look at the hierarchy, this is the superclass and this is the subclass. So when we are trying to catch exceptions, okay, the catch block should be ordered in such a way that at the beginning or from the top, you should have more specific exception objects. That means subclass exception blocks. And as you go down, you have superclass exception. So if I just alter this order, so first I put the more specific arithmetic exception and then I put exception. Okay, let's see now. So compile. So we have compiled now. It compiles without a problem. When I run it, it will be caught by, you are trying to divide by 0. The statement was there in our in the catch block for arithmetic exception. So this is executed. So because there was an exception here, okay, the exception, the control first comes to the first catch block. If it matches this, then it will execute it and then go to finally. Okay, if it does not match this, then it will go to except this. Then it will go to the next catch block, and here it will be caught, and so on. So here, if I try to do something again, let me just try to do something. Let me try to catch another type of exception. So here what I do, I put s equal to null and then I try to print. Or I try to use s dot length. Okay. So here this may not be a divide by 0 exception. So let me say divide by 0 exception doesn't occur here. Some other exception occurs. Okay. So let's see. Okay, this is a different error. Just modify it. Okay, let me save and okay. So now it's compiled. All right, let me run it. So here you can see it says an exception has occurred. That means if I come here, you'll see that here there is no exception. Then here when we are trying to access s dot length, s is assigned null, so s dot length, it does not refer to anything. So this is a null pointed exception. So the moment there is an exception, it will come to the first catch block. It tries to match. Is it an arithmetic exception? No. Then it will come to the next one. Is it an exception? Yes. So it will print an exception has occurred. So the ordering of the catch blocks is important. So first you put the subclasses, innermost subclasses, and then you go down. As you go down, you make it move up the hierarchy, okay, to the superclasses. So that is all about using exception handling in your program.